WPPF 25 News starts with breaking news.
If you kill Americans, we will pursue you, no matter who you are, no matter what title you hold, and in this case, no matter how much time has passed.
Breaking news at 5. Former Cuban President Raúl Castro just indicted for the murder of 4 men, 3 of which were American citizens during a humanitarian mission 30 years ago.
Federal prosecutors say he was behind the 1996 shooting down of 2 civilian planes belonging to the Miami-based humanitarian group Brothers to the Rescue. Good evening. I'm Tiffany Kenny.
And I'm Felicia Rodriguez. Thank you for joining us. We have team coverage for you this evening. Angela Rozier and Rachel Williams have reaction from Cuban communities across South Florida.
But first, morning anchor Natalie Pozo has been in Miami covering the story since 4:30 this morning. And Natalie, you were there when that indictment was announced, and there was a huge applause.
Yes, I can tell you it was a very hopeful and emotional room when that indictment was announced. The United States officially charging Raúl Castro, the former dictator of Cuba, with murder and conspiracy to kill Americans. Those are the charges now he's facing. They both come with a sentence of life in prison or the death penalty.
Today, we are announcing an indictment charging Raúl Castro.
Acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche in Miami to announce that the former leader of Cuba, Raúl Castro, has been charged with murder and conspiracy to kill Americans.
For nearly 30 years, the families of 4 murdered Americans have waited for justice.
Officials say in 1996, Raúl Castro, who was Minister of Defense at the time, ordered the shooting of 2 humanitarian planes in international airspace, killing 4 Americans who were part of the Miami-based nonprofit Brothers to the Rescue. They would fly over the Straits of Florida and help Cubans on rafts who were escaping the communist country.
My message today is clear. The United States and President Trump does not and will not forget its citizens.
The announcement was made alongside other top Justice Department officials at the Freedom Tower, a significant landmark that helped hundreds of thousands of Cubans escaping the communist island after Fidel Castro took over in 1959. U.S. Attorney for the District of Southern Florida, Jason Redding Quiñones, led the federal grand jury in the indictment of the 94-year-old dictator.
My own mother spent her first night in the United States in this very building. After fleeing brutal communist Cuba, like so many families in Miami,
some Cuban Americans say today is not just about an announcement, but making sure justice is served.
What do you tell the Cuban community who is happy about today's announcement, but is wondering how you pursue these charges? What comes next?
To those that wonder whether this is just an indictment or we're going to go away, we're not.
5 other defendants were also charged in this announcement, with only 1 in U.S. custody. Cuba's President Miguel Díaz-Canel condemning the indictment, accusing the U.S. of lying and manipulating what happened that day in 1996. He called it a political action without any legal basis, adding that Cuba was acting in self-defense. And this afternoon, once that indictment came down and was officially announced here at the Freedom Tower in downtown Miami, President Trump reacted to the indictment. Take a listen.
I think it's a very big moment for people that not only Cuban Americans, but people that came from Cuba and want to go back to Cuba, these people that want to see their family in Cuba. I think it's a very big day, very important day.
And it certainly was a historic day here in South Florida. Many Cuban Americans were watching today very closely to see what comes next for the island that they love so much but had to flee so many years ago because of the dictatorship and communism. I want to bring in our colleague Angela Rozier, who is live in Little Havana with more on reaction from the Cuban American community.
Natalie, it's after 5 o'clock, folks getting off work and heading here to Versailles. You can see they put up a huge Cuban flag here behind me. I can also tell you, folks here definitely reacting to today's indictment.
That's pretty much the reaction we're getting today. We're here at Versailles, often called the world's most famous Cuban restaurant here in Little Havana. It's known as the unofficial gathering spot for Cuban exiles and is famous for its iconic walk-up cafe window where you can grab a cafecito, a medianoche sandwich. It's also where locals gather to talk politics, especially today.
This moment is a big moment for the liberty of a country have been slave for 67 years. We had a lot of dead people, a lot of political prisoners, and I think it's the time comes.
He's one of several people glad to hear that former dictator Raúl Castro will face murder charges in connection with the 1996 plane shootdown of the Brothers to the Rescue crew. Adrian Rodriguez has a message for President Donald Trump.
Hey, Mr. President, I hope this is only the first step. The second step should be considered declaring the Cuban Communist Party as a terrorist organization and a threat to the security of the United States, and put all its members behind bars.
And people are telling me right now the question is what will happen next and when will it happen? And Nathalie, most people say they're just glad to see justice. Nathalie, back to you.
Yeah, Angela, it's something that they have been waiting for 30 years now. Thank you. Versailles is definitely a place where you could get a lot of reaction from the Cuban American community when it comes to politics in Cuba. We do want to continue our live team coverage this evening with our reporter Rachel Williams. She's in Palm Beach County with reaction from people there.
Nathalie, I'm here in Havana, a Cuban restaurant in West Palm Beach, and today the reaction has been the same from everyone after learning about Raúl Castro's indictment. They're saying that it's about time that this happened. Now, everyone that I spoke to come from many different generations, and when they heard that he was being indicted today, they say, a lot of them wonder why now, since they say he has gotten away with so much already. The people I spoke with today told me while the news of Castro's indictment is welcome, they are waiting to see the impact in their home country, and they're hoping for major change in Cuba.
I mean, the country it's a beautiful place, and it's destroyed. It really is. There's a lot of buildings that are crumbling. A lot of the people are just. A lot of the younger people have been fleeing to different countries so that they could have opportunities. So I'm hoping that this will be the beginning of great things to come, the beginning of actually the democracy starting in Cuba.
Well, coming up at 6, we'll have more reaction from people in Cuban communities and what their life was like on the island during that time. But for now, I'm live in West Palm Beach. Rachel Williams, WPBF 25 News. Back.
Rachel, thank you. Again, like we've been saying all day, this is such a historic day, a historic moment for the Cuban American community. I can tell you I received a text message from a city leader in Palm Beach County earlier today while that announcement was going on here at the Freedom Tower, which again carries so much significance, saying she was crying watching the announcement. Again, so many Cubans have been waiting 30 years for justice, especially the families of those 4 men killed. Today's announcement also comes on a historic day for Cuba. It's its Independence Day, May 20th. Now, of course, Cuba is nowhere free at all, but they do celebrate independence because they broke from the Spanish rule in 1902 and became the independent Republic of Cuba. And you can stay with WPBF 25 News for complete and timely coverage of this announcement. We, of course, will have everything that we've been gathering all day long on our website, WPBF.com.